Six-time Emmy Award winner and Tony Award nominee Jean Smart returns to Broadway for 12 weeks only in a world premiere play about a writer whose words are her only way out.
Call me Izzy.
Get tickets at callmeizzyplay.com.
On today's Smart 7, government accused of ignoring infected blood victims, resident doctors head to the picket lines, and much more. It's Thursday, 10th of July, it's National Kitten Day, and happy birthday, Sofia Vergara.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Wednesday saw the government facing more criticism for its failure to pay compensation to victims of a national scandal. This time it was the infected blood scandal, with a new report published by the inquiry chair, Sir Brian Langstaff. The scandal saw over 30,000 people receive blood products that cause disease, and the death of at least 3,000 victims in the 1970s up until the early 1990s. Wednesday's report urges the government to heed the voices of victims and avoid repeating the mistakes of the past.
For decades, people who suffered because of infected blood have not been listened to. Once again, decisions have been made behind closed doors, leading to obvious injustices.
Nick Thomas-Simons is the Paymaster General, and he says that over 2,000 people have now been invited to start their claims process, and that the last thing he wants is any further delays.
When I came into this job, I had a report on my desk with 75 recommendations for changing this scheme, of which I accepted 69. My priority is to ensure that we're not creating even further delay after decades of injustice.
There's been no sign of a breakthrough in talks around a potential 60-day ceasefire in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had meetings with Donald Trump on Monday and Tuesday, but no agreement appears to have been reached, with negotiating teams still working in Doha. Netanyahu has been reluctant to agree to a ceasefire until Israel's military goals are accomplished, and his government has proposed moving all of the civilian population of Gaza to a new so-called humanitarian city. He was careful not to antagonise the US president, however, who has been pushing for peace in the region.
I think everybody in the Middle East took note of American resolve and of the strength of our alliance. Frankly, it was like the roar of two lions.
Trump himself has been busy announcing more tariff letters on Truth Social and meeting with the leaders of 5 West African countries, including Liberia, Senegal and Gabon. He was inclined not to place new tariffs on his guests, but was keen to talk up the US arms industry.
We encourage the countries here today to make greater investments in defense, hopefully, of course, buying our equipment, because we do make the best defense equipment. I guess we proved that about 2 weeks ago.
There were no tears this week at Prime Minister's Question Time, but the repercussions of the changes to the welfare bill were still ringing out in the chamber. Labour are under pressure to make up for the lost savings, and penned in by their promises not to raise taxes. New polling from YouGov suggests that 75% of people are in favour of a wealth tax, though, with the example of a 2% levy on those worth over £10 million gaining traction. Tory leader Kemi Badenoch didn't sound keen on the idea, however.
This is a tax on all of our constituent savings, on their houses, on their pensions. It would be a tax on aspiration.
Mr. Fitchie says we shouldn't be asking them for advice on the economy. She's absolutely right about that. We will not be asking for their advice.
If you thought the days of pickets and placards were behind us, I'm afraid you're going to have to think again. The junior doctors are planning to head back on strike, although they are now known as resident doctors. They are unhappy with the proposed government pay deal and plan to walk out on July 25th for 5 days. They've received an average of more than 28% pay rise over the last 3 years and were offered 5% this year, but they are claiming more than 20% is due because of long-term pay reductions. Health Secretary Wes Streeting was unimpressed.
In the history of British trade unions, there is not a precedent for a trade union to respond to a pay award of 28.9% with any strike action, let alone 5 days. This is unreasonable and unnecessary.
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro, the morning show returns and a big shock for Red Bull's Christian Horner. Right after this. Welcome back. 3. Wednesday saw the Wimbledon quarter-final phase wrap up with Novak Djokovic and Jannik Sinner both making it through their matches in one piece. Iga Swiatek had a straightforward win over her opponent Lyudmila Samsonova, but Switzerland's Belinda Bencic battled through to knock out 7th seed Mira Andreeva. Away from Wimbledon, there was a dramatic announcement in Formula One as Red Bull announced that team principal Christian Horner was released from his operational duties effective immediately. He's been in charge of the team for over 20 years, winning 8 drivers' championships and 6 constructors, but has been dogged by complaints and inquiries for the last 18 months. He is being replaced by Frenchman Laurent Mekies, who is being promoted from the Racing Bulls team. Longtime F1 commentator Martin Brundle was a bit emotional about the news.
I'm quite sad about it, if I'm honest. I consider Christian a friend, and he's done an incredible job there for 20 years. Won an awful lot of races and world championships. But, it's not been difficult to feel in the Formula One paddock and to observe and to hear that things were not particularly rosy.
Netflix has a new talent show on the way called Building the Band. It's part talent show, part dating show, and it features celebrity judges Nicole Scherzinger, Kelly Rowland, and as a guest judge, Liam Payne. Payne died in October of last year, but he had already filmed his appearances as a guest judge, and Netflix have decided to release the series anyway. Scherzinger has a long history with Payne over the years as one of the X Factor judges who put One Direction together. She says Liam's parents have approved the show and wanted people to remember him in a positive way.
I mean, he had the global success that he had with One Direction and himself. It was like a phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
So for him to have achieved that success and then to be coming back and then giving that advice and mentoring these contestants was really cool for me to see.
If you're a fan of big glossy morning news shows, and I don't mean Good Morning Britain, then I have good news for you. The morning show is returning for season 4. The show, which follows all of the power plays and behind-the-scenes drama of an American TV news show, stars Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. Last season's star John Hamm returns, as does Billy Crudup, and the plot this season seems to focus on AI and fake news. Series 4 hits Apple TV Plus from September 17th.
We have to stay together on this.
I need to have a say in the future of this place.
I have to do what's best for the network.
We have to question everything that we see and we hear now more than ever.
There was a cover-up. The truth always comes out. You know that.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
How can I help you today?
Hey, I need to talk about my loan.
No problem.
So I got the email. Sandy Spring Bank is becoming
Atlantic Union Bank. That's right.
And will you still be
your banker? Of course.
More branches and ATMs?
Way more.
Still community driven?
Still live here, still give here.
Mobile app?
Easy. Everything right at your fingertips.
And what about my business?
Always here to help you reach your goals.
Sandy Spring Bank is becoming Atlantic Union Bank, October 2025. Same bankers you love with even more to offer.